Ladies and gentlemen, listen to me today. Your words have power. The greatest battles in your life are not happening around you. They're happening inside you, in your mind, and in your mouth. The words you speak every day are either building your destiny or breaking it down. You can't talk defeat and expect victory. You can't speak fear and expect faith to grow. You can't curse your own future and expect it to shine. You've got to open your mouth and speak blessings upon yourself. When you wake up in the morning, don't say, "I'm tired, I'm broke, I'm unlucky." Say, "I'm blessed, I'm strong, I'm favored, I'm unstoppable." Because the atmosphere listens to your words, and what you speak will eventually show up in your life. Denzel Washington once said, "Say thank you in advance for what is already yours." That's faith, that's power. When you start speaking blessings instead of complaints, the universe aligns with your words. You start attracting opportunities, favor, and peace because you've shifted your inner language from negativity to faith. Your tongue can become your greatest weapon or your greatest weakness. Don't use it to destroy your dreams. Use it to design them. Speak like the person you're becoming, not like the person you used to be. Even if you're in a storm, speak calm. Even if you're broke, speak abundance. Even if you're hurt, speak healing. Because every time you declare life, you plant a seed that will one day grow into your miracle. Stop waiting for someone else to validate you. You are already chosen, already equipped, already enough. Stop saying "I can't." Start saying "I will." Stop saying "it's too late." Start saying "it's my time." The moment you start blessing yourself, your confidence rises, your faith strengthens, and your reality begins to shift. So tonight, make a decision. You're not going to curse your destiny anymore. You're going to bless it. You're going to speak over your dreams, your family, your health, your future. Because when you speak blessings upon yourself, you are giving permission for greatness to manifest in your life. You want to change your life, change your words, speak blessings upon yourself, and watch everything around you start to change. Words shape the reality we live in more than most people realize. Every word that leaves your mouth is a seed, and those seeds grow into the experiences, opportunities, and emotions that fill your life. The words you speak consistently determine the atmosphere around you and the direction your life moves toward. You can't speak negatively and expect positive results. You can't declare doubt and expect faith to rise. You can't talk about failure and expect success to manifest. The universe, your mind, and even the people around you respond to the vibration of your words. What you keep saying eventually becomes what you start believing, and what you believe determines how you act, and how you act shapes your destiny. When you speak words of fear, insecurity, and limitation, you are building invisible walls around your potential. You're training your mind to expect defeat before you even begin the fight. On the other hand, when you speak words of faith, gratitude, and victory, you create an environment that allows growth, courage, and hope to flourish. The language you use creates a mental climate that either nurtures your dreams or kills them before they can take root. That's why it's so important to be intentional with what you say about yourself, your goals, and your future. You cannot rise above the level of your own confession. Every great leader, achiever, or visionary understands this truth. Your mouth is a steering wheel for your life. If you want to know where your life is headed, listen to what you've been saying. If your words are full of doubt, your path will be clouded with uncertainty. If your words are full of expectation and belief, your steps will move toward possibility and favor. Words are not just sounds, they are containers of power. They carry faith or fear, life or death, growth or decay. When you constantly say, "I can't," your subconscious mind shuts down creativity and effort. But when you say, "I can," even before you know how, your mind starts searching for solutions and opportunities. Denzel Washington often reminds people that speaking with purpose attracts results. He says to say thank you in advance for what is already yours. That means you speak not from a place of lack, but from faith. You don't wait for proof to appear before you speak possibility. You declare it first, because your words create the space for manifestation. It's not about pretending or ignoring reality. It's about choosing to align your language with the vision you believe in, not the circumstance you're stuck in. When you speak life, you set a new standard for your reality to rise to. Think about how many times people curse their own future without realizing it. They say things like, "I'll never make it," "I'm not lucky," "Nothing ever works out for me." And then they wonder why life keeps confirming those declarations. Life listens. Energy listens. God listens. Your words set things in motion. And once they leave your lips, they begin shaping outcomes. You can change your entire life by changing your vocabulary. Instead of saying "I'm tired," say "I'm recharging." Instead of "I'm broke," say "I'm in the process of increase." Instead of "I'm stuck," say "I'm being prepared for a breakthrough." Your life is a reflection of your language. When you consistently speak blessings, gratitude, and purpose, you create an atmosphere of strength, peace, and expectancy. But when you speak negativity and doubt, you create an atmosphere of heaviness and defeat. The energy you send out through your words becomes the energy that returns to you. Every day is a chance to rewrite your reality through what you say. The mouth is a creative instrument. It can build worlds or destroy them. If you want to live in joy, speak joy. If you want to walk in favor, speak favor. The world around you will always reflect the world within you, and the world within you is shaped by the words you choose to speak every single day. Faith speaks before it sees, because real faith doesn't wait for evidence. It creates the evidence. It moves with confidence even when the path isn't clear. To speak blessings and gratitude in advance is to declare that you trust the process, that you believe something good is already on its way, even when your circumstances seem unchanged. This is the essence of faith: to believe before the breakthrough, to speak life before it's visible, to thank God before the blessing shows up. Most people wait for signs before they believe, but faith is the opposite. Faith believes first, and the signs follow. When you begin to speak blessings in advance, you are exercising spiritual authority. You are aligning your words with the promises you believe in, not the problems you see around you. Gratitude in advance is one of the most powerful forces in existence, because it tells the universe, "I already trust the outcome." It shifts your focus from fear to confidence, from lack to abundance, from waiting to receiving. Speaking faith is not about ignoring reality. It's about declaring that there is a greater reality beyond what you can see. When you speak blessings over your life before they manifest, you are activating the creative power that brings them into existence. Denzel Washington once said, "Say thank you in advance for what is already yours." That statement is the foundation of supernatural success. When you thank God before the miracle, you are showing that your belief is stronger than your situation. You are saying, "I may not see it yet, but I know it's already done." Faith-filled words carry a frequency that attracts fulfillment. They release expectation into the atmosphere. and prepare your heart to receive what you're asking for. Gratitude in advance also eliminates anxiety, because you stop worrying about when it will happen and start resting in the confidence that it will. Every great transformation begins with words spoken in faith. The person who says, "I am healed," before recovery, the dreamer who says, "I am successful," before success arrives, the believer who says, "I am blessed," before the blessing is visible, they all understand that words are the bridge between belief and manifestation. The mind begins to adapt to what the mouth declares. When you keep affirming what you want in faith, your thoughts align with those words, your actions begin to follow, and eventually your reality reflects it. Faith changes your internal dialogue first, and that internal shift becomes an external transformation. There will always be moments when speaking faith feels foolish. The facts may be stacked against you. Evidence may say it's impossible, and people may doubt your declarations. But faith is not built on what others can see. It's built on what you know in your spirit. When you speak faith in darkness, you invite light. When you declare victory in the valley, you give your soul strength to keep walking. When you speak abundance in lack, you plant seeds of increase that will one day bear fruit. Every declaration you make in faith releases power into your future. Faith-filled speech also protects your mind from negativity. Instead of rehearsing problems, you start rehearsing promises. Instead of complaining about what's missing, you give thanks for what's coming. That mental shift changes everything. You begin to notice new opportunities, make bold decisions, and walk with confidence. Speaking blessings before they appear opens doors that hesitation would have kept closed. It's not about pretending things are perfect. It's about acknowledging that perfection is being formed behind the scenes. When you speak faith before you see results, you invite miracles into motion. Every thank you in advance is an act of creation. Every declaration of blessing is a step toward manifestation. Faith speaks what it expects, not what it fears. It doesn't wait for evidence because it knows the evidence will come. When your words are filled with gratitude, your world begins to align with the faith you've spoken. Speak as if it's already done, and soon you'll see what your faith has been saying all along. Replace negativity with declaration, because the language you use either limits you or liberates you. Every time you speak defeat, fear, or lack, you give power to those things and invite them to stay. The words "I can't," "I'm not enough," or "it's too hard" are not just harmless expressions. They are spiritual agreements that anchor your life in limitation. What you repeatedly declare becomes the soundtrack of your reality. If you constantly speak weakness, you'll begin to live weak. If you constantly speak failure, you'll start to expect failure. But if you begin to replace those negative words with declarations of faith, strength, and success, everything about your mindset and your energy will start to shift. You can't have a victorious life with a defeated mouth. The people who rise above challenges are not those who never face problems, but those who refuse to let their words surrender to fear. When life gets hard, it's easy to talk about what's wrong, what's missing, and what's unfair. But that kind of language only multiplies frustration. What if instead you began to declare what's right, what's possible, and what's coming? Words like "I'm capable," "I'm blessed," and "I'm growing stronger every day" have the power to rewire your entire mindset. When you change your confession, you change your focus, and what you focus on expands. Negativity drains energy, but declaration restores it. When you declare strength, even when you feel weak, you ignite faith inside yourself. When you declare favor, even in moments of uncertainty, you activate divine alignment. When you declare success, even when evidence isn't visible, you train your spirit to expect breakthrough instead of breakdown. Speaking declarations doesn't mean denying reality. It means choosing to stand in faith while reality catches up with what you've spoken. Your words don't just describe your world, they shape it. That's why you must be intentional about replacing negative talk with empowering declarations that align with your destiny. Denzel Washington once said, "Dream big, but also declare it. Speak over your life, your career, your family. Say, this is my time." That's not arrogance. That's spiritual discipline. You are declaring the truth of who you are becoming, not just what you see today. The person who keeps saying, "I'm unlucky," will continue to attract situations that confirm that belief. But the person who starts saying, "Everything works out for my good," begins to shift the energy around them. Life responds to your declaration. The universe, your subconscious mind, and even the opportunities waiting in the unseen realm begin to move in your favor when your words align with faith. Fear thrives in silence, but it dies in declaration. Every time you open your mouth and speak faith, fear loses its hold on you. When you replace negative thoughts with spoken words of strength, you take control of your inner atmosphere. You start to rise above the noise of doubt and build an internal environment of belief. You can't stop negative thoughts from coming, but you can stop them from taking root by speaking truth louder than your fear. Declaration breaks the cycle of mental defeat and replaces it with a rhythm of victory. Negativity is contagious, but so is faith. When you start speaking strength, people around you start to believe again. When you declare favor, you inspire others to expect blessings too. The energy you give off through your words doesn't just lift you, it transforms the atmosphere around you. Declaration is an act of leadership. It sets the tone for your environment. You don't need to wait until everything is perfect to speak powerfully. Start where you are. Declare life in the middle of chaos. Declare peace in the middle of stress. Declare abundance in the middle of lack. When you replace negativity with declaration, you take back authority over your future. You stop reacting to life and start creating it. The words "I am," "I will," and "I can" are not just phrases, they are forces that push your destiny forward. Every time you speak strength instead of fear, you are rewriting your story. Every declaration you make builds the foundation for the life you're meant to live. Speak victory until you see it. Declare blessing until it manifests. Replace every negative word with a faith-filled declaration, and watch your world begin to rise to the level of your words. Your tongue is a creative force, one of the most powerful tools ever given to you. Every word that comes out of your mouth is like a seed planted in the soil of your future. Those seeds don't just disappear into thin air. They take root, grow, and eventually produce fruit. Some people live surrounded by blessings because they've planted words of faith, hope, and vision, while others live in frustration because they've planted words of fear, complaint, and doubt. The truth is, your life right now is largely a reflection of the words you've spoken over time. The world you experience outside is shaped by the language you've been using inside and out. When you speak, you are not just communicating, you are creating. Words build atmospheres, they establish direction, and they carry spiritual weight. You can speak life into your relationships, your health, and your purpose, or you can speak destruction without even realizing it. Every "I can't," "I'm not enough," or "it's impossible" releases energy that weakens your belief and limits your potential, but every "I can," "I will," and "it's on its way" releases power that strengthens your faith and draws your destiny closer. The tongue doesn't simply describe your world, it designs it. You are the architect of your reality, and your words are the blueprints. This creative force is so strong that even when you don't consciously mean it, your words still work. Jokingly calling yourself unlucky, broke, or lazy might seem harmless, but every word plants a subtle belief in your subconscious mind. Your brain begins to accept what your mouth repeats, and soon your actions start matching your declarations. That's why it's crucial to become aware of what you're saying every day. Are your words building your destiny, or are they tearing it down? The more consistently you speak life, the more fertile your future becomes. Denzel Washington often speaks about faith, vision, and the power of positive words. He reminds people to thank God in advance for what's already theirs, because faith and words work hand in hand. When you speak gratitude before you see results, you are creating a spiritual alignment that calls blessings into existence. Your words send a signal to the universe that you are ready to receive. That's creation in motion. The energy behind your words doesn't vanish, it multiplies. You are shaping reality with every sentence you speak. Whether you realize it or not, think of your words like a painter's brush. Each statement adds color and texture to the canvas of your life. If you keep painting with dark strokes of negativity, fear, and limitation, your picture will reflect that. But if you start painting with hope, determination, and faith, your masterpiece will shine with purpose and promise. The tongue was never meant to curse your journey, it was designed to create it. That's why the wisest people speak less, listen more, and choose their words carefully. They understand that a single sentence can either open a door or close one forever. Many people pray for a new life while speaking the language of the old one. They ask for blessings while cursing their own situation. They want success, but talk about how hard it is to succeed. You can't plant weeds and expect flowers to grow. If you want to experience abundance, your words must reflect abundance. Speak like the person you are becoming, not like the person you've been. Even in struggle, speak victory. Even in uncertainty, speak direction. Even in delay, speak progress. The tongue is a tool of manifestation. It gives shape to your thoughts and sends energy into motion. Every day, you have the choice to plant new seeds with your words. If you speak with intention, gratitude, and faith, you will build a destiny filled with strength and favor. If you speak carelessly, planting seeds of worry, anger, and limitation, you will harvest frustration and stagnation. Your tongue is the pen that writes your future, so write something beautiful. Choose words that build, heal, inspire, and uplift. Speak what you desire, not what you fear. The creative force within your mouth has the power to design the life you dream of, one declaration at a time. Identity is shaped by language long before it is seen in action. The words you use to describe yourself define how you think, how you behave, and how you show up in the world. When you speak like the person you are becoming, powerful, worthy, and chosen, you begin to transform your inner identity to match your destiny. Every time you speak, you are reinforcing either your past limitations or your future potential. The voice you use about yourself is either an echo of who you were or a prophecy of who you are becoming. If you keep using the language of the old version of yourself, you will remain trapped in that old reality. But the moment you change your words, your identity begins to rise to a higher level. The language of the past is filled with fear, regret, and self-doubt. It says things like, "I'm not good enough," "I always fail," "I don't deserve better." Those words are chains that hold you to old patterns and old pain. You cannot walk into a new season carrying the vocabulary of the old one. The new you speaks differently. The new you declares, "I am capable, I am chosen, I am prepared." Even if you don't fully believe it at first, your spirit hears those words and begins to align with them. The subconscious mind doesn't argue with your declarations. It absorbs them and starts reshaping your confidence, your habits, and your expectations. That is how transformation begins, through the consistent language of faith and identity. When you speak as the person you are becoming, you give life to that version of yourself. You speak from the place of power, not weakness. You affirm your worth instead of questioning it. You declare victory even when the battlefield still looks uncertain. Your words set the tone for how others see you and how you see yourself. The world responds differently to someone who speaks with conviction and confidence. You start attracting opportunities that match your new identity because your language communicates self-belief, not self-doubt. People can feel when you've decided who you are. Denzel Washington often reminds his audience to walk by faith, not by sight, to speak and act like someone who knows they've already been chosen for greatness. That's not pretending, that's practicing identity. When you start speaking like your future self, you're training your mind and spirit to live on the level of your purpose. You're saying, I may not be there yet, but I'm talking like it, walking like it, and preparing like it. Identity doesn't shift overnight. It shifts through repeated declarations of truth. Every I am statement builds a brick in the foundation of who you're becoming. There is enormous creative power in how you describe yourself. The phrase I am is the most potent in the human language because whatever follows it begins to form your reality. If you say, I am tired, you reinforce exhaustion. If you say, I am energized, you begin to awaken that feeling. When you say, I am worthy, your heart starts to believe it, and your actions follow. Identity follows language, not the other way around. You don't wait to feel powerful before you speak power. You speak power until you feel it. You don't wait to see worth before you declare it. You declare it until you live it. Your words are mirrors reflecting your internal identity. If you want to see a different reflection, change the words you use. Speak from vision, not memory. Speak from your divine potential, not your past mistakes. The person you used to be no longer defines the person you're becoming. Let your language lead your transformation. Speak success, even if you're just starting. Speak healing, even if you're still hurting. Speak abundance, even if you haven't seen it yet. The identity you desire already exists. Your words are the bridge that takes you there. Every time you speak life, confidence, and purpose, you are reminding your soul that you are powerful, worthy, and chosen. You are not who you were, you are who you are becoming, and your language is the proof. Change words, change life, because transformation doesn't begin with action, it begins with speech. The words you speak over yourself every day are the architects of your destiny. They shape your mindset, fuel your emotions, and influence every decision you make. If your language is full of doubt, fear, and limitation, your life will mirror that same energy. But if your language is filled with faith, gratitude, and power, your world will begin to rise to that frequency. Transformation begins the moment you start blessing yourself with words of life, power, and purpose. You cannot speak defeat all week and expect victory to show up. You cannot curse your situation and expect it to change. Words are spiritual seeds. Whatever you plant will eventually grow. When you begin to speak blessings over yourself, something inside you shifts. The mind starts believing what the mouth keeps declaring. If you say, I'm strong, strength begins to build. If you say, I'm favored, you start noticing open doors and opportunities. If you say, I'm loved, your heart becomes more receptive to connection and peace. This isn't wishful thinking, it's spiritual alignment. The energy of your words attracts similar energy back to you. When you bless yourself with words of purpose, you invite the universe to align with your belief. You set a tone for your reality that no circumstance can silence. Many people sabotage their own transformation by speaking negativity over their lives without even realizing it. They wake up saying, I'm tired, nothing ever works out for me, or I'll never get ahead. Those words may sound harmless, but they create a mental atmosphere of limitation. The more you repeat them, the more your subconscious mind accepts them as truth. Eventually, your behavior and decisions start following that pattern. But when you make a conscious decision to speak blessings, you begin to break that cycle. You train your mind to expect something better, and what you expect, you attract. Denzel Washington often speaks about the power of gratitude and declaration. He encourages people to say thank you in advance for what's already on the way. That's not just positivity, it's power. When you say thank you before the blessing arrives, you are affirming your faith in what you can't yet see. You're declaring that you trust the process, and that trust releases peace, strength, and clarity. Speaking gratitude in advance is one of the most effective ways to transform your mindset because it keeps you focused on possibility instead of lack. Gratitude turns ordinary moments into miracles, and your words are the gateway to that shift. Your life will always Move in the direction of your dominant words. If your speech is full of complaint, your life will feel heavy. If your speech is full of hope, your spirit will rise. Transformation is not a one-time decision. It's a daily practice of choosing words that align with your purpose. Every time you open your mouth, you are either reinforcing your old identity or creating a new one. Speaking life doesn't mean pretending everything is perfect. It means declaring victory in the midst of imperfection. It's choosing to bless yourself even when you don't feel blessed yet, to speak strength even when you feel weak, to speak healing even when you're still in pain. Your words create the atmosphere for your transformation. Speak light in darkness, and the darkness begins to fade. Speak peace in chaos, and order starts to return. Speak abundance in lack, and doors begin to open. The power of life and death truly lies in the tongue, and the moment you start using your words intentionally, everything changes. Transformation doesn't come from waiting for life to get better. It comes from deciding to speak better, think better, and believe better. So bless yourself daily with words of life, power, and purpose. Speak the language of growth and faith. As your words rise, your life will rise with them. Change your words, and your world will never be the same again.